Hey, what's up, guys? I am in Lake Tahoe. I'm staying in a hotel. Wanted to talk about some questions that were asked and talk about week 2 and what's going on. And yeah, here we go. So first question: any tips on what to do prior to going to NLC? I'm a senior in high school debating whether to attend Lineman school or not. So, my tips and my recommendations: take an electrical class, a basic electrical class, the very basic one. Go to your community college and just take that basic electrical class. It'll kind of just open your eyes a little bit on what you're going to get yourself into, and it'll just teach you the basis of electrical theory. And it'll help you if you do consider going to NLC. It's going to help you. Um, and with the math as well, you'll kind of get. I think the math that I did for my basic electrical class at my community college, the math there was actually a lot harder than the math at NLC. And maybe it'll be that way too at your community college as well. But at NLC, it's just you're doing like a lot of formulas and stuff, but these things are given to you. It's all about like calculating weight, tension, snatch blocks. That's all at NLC. More at the community college, they're more talking about just everything about electrical theory. So I recommend taking a basic electrical class at your community college. That's for one thing. It'll help you. Another thing too is I have some notes here. So powerlifting and squatting. Take a class on that specifically on just like technique, very basic technique. That's my recommendation just because now that I'm working for the IBEW, after I graduated NLC and then started working, that helped me out a lot. I went with my friend Ernie. He's really big into that. So he was able to teach me his ways. And because he knew I had back problems for a very long time. And then he had back problems just very recent. I believe for now, I want to say like he's been having it for about 4 to 5 years. I'm not too sure. But he's been taking care of it really, really well. He's changed a few things so he can lift a little bit better. And, that was a good way of learning because when he learned a few things because of all of that, he was able to teach me. And it's very vital that you take care of your back because all the people that I've been working with, the crew that I'm with, they all have back problems. Now, I don't know why. And I haven't really asked them, like, oh, how did it happen? They just tell me, like, oh, it just happens. I was just like, okay, well, try not to be one of those people where it just kind of happens. Take care of it. Make sure that if you're gonna take it with someone, I'm saying like taking professional class, not just take it with like a friend. Like I went with my personal friend because he actually is an instructor for like weight training and stuff. Like he's one of those people that actually gets paid, and I just happened to have like that personal relationship with him for so many years because now he was teaching me at a professional level. So most definitely see if you can get some type of guidance like that and make sure they're actually doing it correctly. But do your research and see if this certain class is worth paying for, because it will help you. If you screw up your back, you're just going to be in a very long suffering, long life of. It's just gonna suck if you fuck up your back. It's just gonna fucking suck. That's all I'm just trying to say. I fucked up my back when I was in 7th grade. Now I'm 28. So yeah, I mean, like, I've been through that shit. I had surgery, so take care of your back, and that's my recommendation. I wish I would have taken these types of classes a long time ago. It would have benefited me a long time ago. But take it. It's gonna help you. There's a lot of heavy shit that I'm been hauling back and forth, back and forth. So lifting it the right way is gonna help you. I recommend that. I recommend getting that powerlifting or squatting class or some sort so it can help you. And exercise, that's for one. A lot of exercise. Cardio, weightlifting, that's my thing. The cardio that I did a lot of swimming. I'm still doing it. And not so much weightlifting. I should have. That was probably my biggest downfall for many, many years. But weightlifting, if you can do it, yeah, go big on weightlifting. Take your time. But yeah, most definitely a lot of weightlifting. It's a lot of heavy stuff. And diet. Better diet if you don't have one. That's a big one. All the exercise that you're going to be doing, it's not going to mean shit if you're not eating well. Lately, I have been eating very well for the past like 2 weeks. And I've been shedding a lot of weight. And it's been helpful. You know, there has been, I believe, like 2 days or just 1 day. I don't remember. But the crew, like, everyone kind of just buys lunch. And it's been nice. Sometimes they'll buy like shitty food. There was 1 day it was pizza, and then there was another day, I don't remember what it was. But the thing is that after I ate it, I felt like shit, and I gassed out really, really fast. I just was like out of breath, and I just like fuck, I'm just fucking tired. It was just a bad day. But, after like, I don't know, 2 hours, I was like back into it again. I got like, I don't know, I might have sweated out or whatever. But it's going to affect the way that you perform. If you care about how you perform, I recommend getting a better diet. If it's not good already, try to get it better and better and better. But yeah, I mean, it's going to help you. It will. I said it before because I heard it on a podcast with Powerline Podcast with Ryan Lucas. They have this company, not them specifically, but they were on a podcast with Wilderness Athlete. Check it out, see what you can get from them. But you are an athlete. If you're going to be in this type of industry, you're going to be an athlete. You got to train like one. You got to eat like one. If you care the way you perform, eat better. It's not always the best thing to just drink caffeine all the fucking time. There is a cause and effect with that. So make sure to do your research on what happens. But I'm just saying, if you have a better diet, you'll have a better outcome on how you perform at work. So those are the 4 things that I can just kind of think about. I did write it down, but that was the only things I can really think about. Just basic electrical class at your community college. Getting a professional class for squatting or powerlifting. I would say both. They're 2 different movements, but I would say both. And exercise and a better diet. Those are 4 things that you should look into. Another question was, what number were you when you got the call on book 3? I was number 88. Now, me being number 88 didn't mean that, it's really confusing how they do it. But this is how I understood it. This is how I got the call. So if there's a job that is posted and this certain job is requiring a CDL. And so if this job is requiring a CDL, let's just say the other 87 people that signed the books before me. Let's just say 20 people just got eliminated because they don't have their CDL. They only have their Class C driver's license. That's it. So 20 people just got eliminated for that job. And then another requirement is, okay, well, the other 60, whatever, have their CDL, but this job is asking for a tanker's endorsement. Another 20 people just got eliminated because they don't have this endorsement, the tanker's endorsement. Okay, so that bumps me up now. I'm like in the 40s now, And also another thing is now this, there might be some people who have an expired OSHA. There might be people who have an expired first aid or CPR. And then that might eliminate like another 5 or 10 people. So it gets me even closer. And then this job is also asking for a flagger certification. Okay, so now I just got bumped up because another 20 people just got eliminated for this job. Now it's even got me closer to getting that call. So it's just like if my number was 88, it doesn't mean that I'm actually number 88. It's kind of weird, but it kind of just goes like that. People just get kind of eliminated depending on the job and what the job is asking for. And there's a lot of variables that are just unknown. So that's why it's very hard to kind of just go by that number. But that is how that works. That's how I understand it. And another thing too is if you're number 180, it doesn't mean you're gonna get a call like 6 months from now. Like you could get a call within the next 2 weeks, depending on what that job is offering. Like it doesn't matter. Like if you have the certifications for that specific job, that what they're looking for, and there's the other 179 people that are just not qualified for it, like it kind of just puts you up all the way to like the front of the line. So that's how that works. But I was number 88 when I signed up on the books. I was number, I think somewhere around the, I don't even remember, maybe like in the 120, 140 range. I don't remember, but it was something like that. I want to say like around 40, 160, something like that. It was really high though. It was really high. But yeah, the closer you get to, the least amount of number, where my number was 88, I got a call. But the number, like the closer you get to, I guess, number 1, it's, you're going to get a call soon, But it doesn't matter, right? You can be 180 and get a call next week. You just don't know, right? Just depending on how many certs you have, what certain jobs, what they're looking for. But that's the main ones is your certs, flaggers, first aid, CPR, OSHA 10, CDL with tanker's endorsement. Tanker's endorsement, if you can, I recommend getting that. It looks like it's very common because if you get your tanker's endorsement, it seems like a lot of the contractors use a lot of the water. Kind of, I don't know for what exactly, but they use a lot of water. So, if you don't have it already, get your CDL with a tanker's endorsement. It seems like IBEW, the contractors are really looking for that. And if you don't, that's fine. How's the book work? How's the book work? How's the book work? I heard it's pretty hard with all the math. It's not that hard if you study. If you study, you'll be fine. And make sure to ask questions. If you really still are confused on something, then keep asking questions. I know sometimes it can be very discouraging, especially like you have the spotlight on you. Like, I know I had that problem, but find the courage inside you. Ask the questions if you are confused. They are the teachers, the instructors are there to help you. Because remember this, because I always had this in my mind, and it always pushed me to ask questions. I just paid $25,000 to get into the school. I'm gonna ask my questions. So I'm getting everything that I need, and I don't care what people say. I don't care, like, if I fucking frowned upon for asking questions. Like, ask your questions. You are paying a whole lot of money just to be there. Ask your questions. There's been a lot of people that hold back. You can see it. I mean, at least I did. And our class, there's a lot of different classes there, but I feel like our class did very, very well. You have different crews, and there's like a class of like 25 people, I believe, for each group. So I believe our class did very well because our class asked a lot of questions, and the instructors for our group, honestly, don't know if they are telling the truth. I'm pretty sure they are, but I mean, there's no reason to lie. They don't benefit anything. But they were telling us that we kept getting the highest scores. We were the most involved as far as like participation, like during our class. Ask your questions. The instructors, they like it. You can see it. They're there to explain things if you don't understand. And if you don't understand with this certain instructor, you can go out of your way and ask different instructors, which I would do all the time. If there's something that's still unclear, I would go to a different instructor, probably on the field, and I would ask, like, hey, so we were learning this, I still don't understand, like, can you explain it to me? And then they will, no problem. Just remember how much thousands of dollars that you're going to be investing into this, and they are there because of you. They're there because you paid that thousands of dollars. Now they're there because of you. So make sure to ask your questions. I just put just like anything else, when you learn a new skill, put in the time, put in the effort. If you're paranoid about the math, take a basic electrical class at your community college. Like I said, the math there should be harder, but it'll kind of help you get in the basics of electrical theory when you get to NLC. So you don't have to be really stressing about the big stuff. The only thing that was hard at NLC when we're talking about math and it wasn't really that hard. It was just more of a challenge because you just have to understand how to use the formulas that they give you and how to get the variables that are needed for the formula. And they will explain it to you, and they will teach you how to do it. And with the math also, I believe NLC also has an extracurricular class for math. I didn't take it, but they have that option for you in case you're, very paranoid about the math. But I'm telling you, it's just kind of like, if you just ask your questions and take the time to do the exercises also on the portal, the NLC has a portal for you. You will log in every single day. There's important things on there. There's videos on the field. There's videos on the curriculum and everything that you're learning in class. There's videos, and there's also exercises that you can do and practice on. So if there's something that you're struggling on, and if you're not even struggling, do those exercises anyways. They're there to help you. Some of the exercises that are there are very similar to what's on the test as well. So I recommend also doing those exercises. A lot of people didn't do them, but it will help you. It will help you. The math isn't too hard. There's not a lot of percentages. There's not a lot of fractions. There's not a lot of, well, there is a lot of decimals here and there, but it's just not, it's not that difficult. It really isn't. Like I said, if you're very patient, you can definitely learn it, but just take the time. There's no rush, but most definitely ask your questions. take a class, basic electrical class at your community college. It's not too crazy. Oh, and there was a comment that I wanted to acknowledge. It says Cisco Foods and U.S. Foods will hire you with a CDL sign-on bonus, 5 to 7K. Cisco will take you straight out of truck driving school. We are busy. We are crazy busy, 6 days, 70 hours. I just wanted to acknowledge that because because that route, you can make a lot of money, that's fine. That's not really what I'm looking for. I know that there are some people that are just kind of like trying to be a lineman or trying to get some type of experience and just kind of taking whatever they can get, which NLC also tells you if there's a job out there, just take it, whatever it is. But I didn't. And the only reason that I want to acknowledge it is because there are some people that just kind of want to get any type of experience, which is fine. I'm not against that. But for me, and this is just my opinion, like I wouldn't really want to just do that right out of college after just graduating this. I want something that's more related to the lineman jobs, groundman jobs. I want something that's more related to that. So say if I do start working as a truck driver, that's cool and all, but I don't really believe that, let's just say SoCal Edison. SoCal Edison, I'm there in an interview and they're going to go ahead and see that I have a truck driving experience, but honestly don't think that's going to be that impressive. Truck driving, you're going to be doing a lot of sitting, and you're going to be countless hours behind the wheel. That's cool, but it's just not for me. I'm not looking for that. To me, that's not really going to impress them. What's going to impress them is like, yeah, I was working in the construction field, having a lot of heavy shit everywhere for 10 hours, and yeah, it was fucking hard, and I did that from this date to this date. And it was grueling, it was challenging, I loved it. Instead of telling them, yeah, I was a truck driver, and this is from this date to this date, and, I traveled along the whole U.S. and made a lot of money. And I don't know, I just don't feel like I will benefit so much, especially if I'm getting into this trade. I can't really talk about the equipment. There's not really a physical challenge when it comes to like truck driving, but if that's what you want to do, it makes a quick buck, go for it. But that's not something for me. That's not something I could really use as my advantage. If there was an interview process, like I can't really talk about that. I feel like that's just not really impressive. Being a truck driver, I feel like it has their challenges, but there's not really a lot of heavy shit that I'm hauling everywhere. I'm not out in the element. I'm not sweating my fucking balls off. Like, it's just not what I'm thinking it is, And if there was someone that I'm going against who has truck driving and someone who has construction, who's actually done the hard shit, not saying truck driving is easy. I don't know exactly how hard it is, but I'm just saying if I was the one who was doing the interviewing, I would pick the person who's doing actual construction work instead of just truck driving. But I just want to acknowledge that because make sure whatever job that you do accept, make sure it's actually going to benefit you some way, somehow, or you can change it, I don't know, to your way of thinking of just kind of like benefiting you in an interview process. Okay, so just know NLC does tell you take any job, but just pick and choose what's gonna look good for you. That's for you to decide. So week two of working for the IBEW. Monday started at 7, and Monday and Tuesday were very similar. All I did was use a jumping jack. It's a really big equipment. It weighs about like 90 pounds. And I'm pretty much just like it just hops, and grading is just like making it like very leveled. Um, we just have to make it flat as possible. And I did that for 2 days, and there's like a whole like process with it, because I mean, I'm working with a bucket truck. So this bucket truck scoops up the dirt, puts it on the slope that I was working on, and then I have to get a concrete rake, rake it out, make it nice and flat, and then I have to get the jumping jack and just like pound it down. So there's a process to that. So, and it's pretty hard. Um, so it was pretty nice. Monday and Tuesday, I did it by myself. They let me do that by myself. The first week, which is last week, I was doing it with someone, and then they kind of just gave me the trust to just do it on my own. And they said I did a really good job, because Monday and Tuesday did that for 2 whole days. It was fucking hard. And then Wednesday, the leader of the crew, he gave me a choice. He was just like, "Hey man, you've been doing well for the past 2 days, and do you want to go ahead and just take a break from this, and then you can go ahead and just organize the Connex?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure, I'll do it." And the Connex is just a big shipping container that has all our tools. I organized that. It took about 5 hours, and in this shipping container, the Connex, it was just packed with everything. There's a lot of stuff on the floor. You couldn't get to the back of the container. Now that I did everything, it took 5 hours to do. I was able to hang everything, and then now you're able to walk all the way to the back, and so now it's clean. So I did that and kind of just helped around with different things throughout the day. And then Thursday, I dug holes all day. It was exhausting. That's probably the hardest thing, other than moving, 80-pound blocks for 4 hours. Digging holes is probably the hardest thing. So there's that. That sucked. And I still wasn't done. And I had to finish just like one more hole the next day. I did that like within an hour, so that was great. And I do recommend asking the crew. I do, and be like, "Hey, like, what do you think?" Like, because what I try to get advice from all the crews. From the crew members. So one of the questions was, say, "Hey man, like, for me digging holes, like, should it really take this long?" And he was just like, "No." He was like, "Okay, so how long should it take me?" He's like, "It should probably take you like half day." So it took me one full day to get it done, and then like spilling over the next day, it took me like another hour. So, like, I have a lot of room to improve. So make sure to ask like how and what other ways you can improve. A lot of people don't. I do, but I definitely like to talk about that. Like, there's a lot of things that I should improve, like muscle. Like, if I had much more muscle, a lot of the things that I do would be a lot easier. So, and then let's see, Friday. So after the hole was done, I was just picking up a lot of trash throughout the whole day. We're pretty much getting near the end of the project, and then once that's done, I believe I'm not too sure how it really works. I'm still trying to figure that out, what happens after the project is done, but I'll let you know what happens. But basically we're just kind of cleaning up the yard at the substation. We're just kind of moving stuff or loading things onto the trailer, and then that trailer just hauls everything at a different yard. Has like all our leftover materials that we haven't used, and we'll probably use that same material for the next job, and so on and so forth. But that's what we've been doing. We kind of been just kind of cleaning up all the clutter that we have. But yeah, that was pretty much it. It wasn't too hard. it's starting to get a little bit easier in a sense. It seems like the foreman was right. I am starting to get acclimated to the demand that is that the job is demanding me. Um, so my body is kind of keeping up with it now a little bit because I'm not becoming like so sore like how I was the first week. So that's pretty nice. And last news, SoCal Edison. So SoCal Edison, I got an email yesterday. I got I don't know how many emails, but it's denial emails. I got denial emails. So there is 12 locations that they denied me with. So I'm no longer in the run for those. But good news is that I'm still considered under consideration for 5 other locations, which is still good. That means that I'm still, I guess, available, or at least competing with other people for these other 5 locations. So hopefully I get something, because the next process right now is just for the interview process. And the HR, they did want to make this clear that even if you pass all the tests that it's been given to you, like I have, interviews, it's still not guaranteed, even if you pass everything. So they just wanted to make that very clear, because what happens is the hiring managers, they look at all your resumes and what you have to offer. They look at all of that stuff all over again, and then they will decide if you are worthy enough to get a interview or not. So that's probably what's happening. So that's why it's never really guaranteed, even if you pass everything. So still under consideration for 5 locations. Hopefully I can get an interview and it'll benefit me somehow, some way. But, and now, today, Saturday, the whole reason of me being in this hotel room is to take a test. I got through the application process with LADWP, which is the Los Angeles Department of Water and Power. And right now is the testing going on. So I'm going to be taking this test. Hopefully I pass. If I pass, then I get to do the performance test with them. And after that performance test, if I pass, then I go to an interview process. And then I get an offer if they like me or not. Or a denial, or whatever. So yeah,